Welcome, everybody, to the Experience Matters podcast. I'm your host, Kent Clothier. Kevin Hammel's with me today. Kevin, how you doing this morning?
Good, in the same room for once, so we'll see how this
We're
goes.
all in the same room here. We're doing a little video on this thing today, and we're going to try this out and see how this works. So we're going to take a few minutes today. I'm going to do a new segment in here as we got past the first 6 or 7 podcasts and got into all the backstory here. So I'm going to try to incorporate one of the biggest features in our company is that whenever we have an event, there's always a Q&A, and it usually lasts, if we have a 6 or 7 hour event, it usually lasts 2 or 3 hours that we have a Q&A session with a panel. So I'm going to try to incorporate a few questions in each one of the podcasts right at the beginning of it, and then I'll get into some things today and talk a little bit about maybe I'll get into some little bit of content on focus and discipline and trust and some things like that, how it affects our business every day. So, Kevin, you want to jump in here and I think let me look over there. You got a few questions over there today, and
Got 3 to ask you today.
good. And then also, and I'll give you the email address at the end of the again. But if you have any questions for us that you'd like to ask me, it's at info@memphisinvest.com. That's info@memphisinvest.com, and we'll get the questions on future podcasts and get you the answers, and anything that's related to being an entrepreneur or a business owner or a real estate investor or a property manager or managing properties. I'm pretty sure we can get you the answers on everything in all of those fields there. All right, Kevin, let's knock these out.
All right, let's hit the first one. Why do you believe we've grown so quickly?
Why do I believe that we've grown so quickly? And that's a great question. And as you know, I get asked that a lot of times by a lot of people wanting to know how we've been able to scale this business for 12, 13, or 14 years. And at one time doing 150, 200, 350, 600, 700 the last couple of years on houses. Have over 4,000 properties now in 3 cities and 2 more cities. But it's really comes back to one thing. And it's about the customer experience. It's about the client experience. It's about customer service. And that's kind of one thing all mixed together there. But we try to give people an unbelievable experience with our company. And our staff is trained in this area to provide a wow experience to every one of our clients. And our customer service department is obviously instrumental in following through on this program and making sure that we talk to every customer every month, every client every month, to give them an update on their portfolio and their property. And they're just amazed that we do that. That's one of the main reasons, if not the main reason why we've been able to grow. And then on top of that becomes the referrals, and 60% of our business today is repeat business that our current business refers for us, and they talk about the experience in our customer service department. So that's the magic bullet, and it's not difficult for any business to do it, but that's how we've been able to scale this business.
That's good stuff right there for the entrepreneur out there
I hope
listening.
everybody was listening, because that's the magic pill right there, right?
That's the bullet there. So then following up on the theme of experience, why do you discourage one property buyers?
Well, over the years, and today, most the people that come to us, they want to develop a portfolio, and today we have about 1,600 investors, and a small percentage of them still have only one property. Today we have about 190 investors that own 5 or more properties with us, and when you only own one property, you're susceptible to a move out, of course, and maintenance, of course, and that certainly diminishes your returns when you only own one property. So we encourage our investor community, when they come into our family, to be open to building their portfolio and having 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, and then eventually getting to our WOW group when they have 5 or more. And it makes for a much smoother journey for them and working with us, and it if they have a vacancy and you have more than one property, it just all your income is not gone at one time. So it's just a better situation, and we certainly encourage our client community and client family to build that portfolio.
So I've heard you use the term before, it evens out the extremes. One person with one house either has 100% occupancy or 100% vacancy and a lot of risk or none.
Yes, and then you minimize that as you build your portfolio.
Then the last one we'll get to today is why not manage for other investors? So why do we only manage for the people that buy our product?
Well, early on when we started and we would talk around the country at different events, and we would get asked this question by a lot of our investors. And so we kind of made it our policy and practice not to bring in outside properties. And today we have very, very few properties from the outside. We have people all the time, investors all the time, and even some of our current investors that own properties with other property management companies. And we're just very cautious about bringing other properties in that we're not familiar with. We didn't buy, we didn't renovate. It may be in a part of town or an area that we don't want to manage in. But the bottom line, it comes back to loyalty to our current client base, that we're going to focus 100% on their properties, taking care of the tenants that are and the residents that are in that property, and providing the service to them as they deserve. And that's why we limit it to very, very rarely will we take an outside property.
So to tie that in for the people who are listening that aren't in the real estate business, it's brand awareness, being able to control that, because we don't want to put a premier sign in the yard of somebody we don't know the quality of their work. But then also we want to provide the best service to our existing clients, because that's 60% of the business that we're growing going forward. So that's an applicable answer to anybody not in the real estate business that's listening. So good stuff.
Good. So I'm gonna again, if you have any questions, send them to us, and we'll be glad to get them in our podcast and talk about them. So I want to talk today a little bit about, and right before the meeting started, I was talking about a particular area that we were working on, and I thought I would just lead right into this. So we have 4,200 properties. Today we have, I think in the 3 cities, we have 86 vacancies. And you do the numbers, that's a pretty good fulfillment, probably 97, 98%, which is, we think is excellent. But one of the things we've been working on this year, the first 4.5 months here, is we're trying to eliminate that. A year ago at this time, we'd have about 140 properties available. Today we have 80 or 90 available. And one of the things that we've always had is this, what we call our over 30-day report, where a house goes over 30 days. And back the early part of the year, we were up to 50 or 60 properties that were vacant that were over 30 days. And so I challenged our team, and I set the expectation that I really wanted this project, the over 30 days, to go away. We don't want to have any houses over 30 days, because we're better than that. Our investors expect us to be better than that. And so I set the challenge out for our team January, February, March, and April to really attack this and see if we could do better. And I set a pretty high bar, a pretty high expectation of it going away. And what that means is we have no houses over 30 days. And just recently I've backed that down to no houses over 20 days. And of course our team thinks I'm crazy, but I set the bar high because we have that type of personnel working for our company that can just do amazing things. And that's why the people that work for us can't be average, because sometimes I set these opportunities and expectations out there. It seems maybe a little unrealistic. And then I step back and watch our amazing team do an unbelievable job. So back on February 28th, we were down to 44 houses in all 3 cities that were over 30 days.
Hey, well, before you jump in and tell them the number, because I'm looking at this sheet, we've been talking about this as we were letting the tech guys get us started today and get the sound checks and all that, and we were going back and forth on this. And so your topic today is really about the discipline. And so before you reveal the results, and everybody listening, the number he's about to give you, this is over about 2.5 month period of really focusing on this, driving in. Nothing that's worth accomplishing ever started out as a realistic expectation anyway. It was all, every good thing that happens starts out with somebody's bold idea. So that's a setup for you. Now you can finish off.
And sometimes our staff kind of questions some of the things. Maybe I'm a little unrealistic about some of the expectations, but you don't get anything you don't ask for. And if you set goals high and just get out of the way and watch people just do amazing things, and that's what happens in our company. And this is just one area right here. And this is a big win-win for our investors, because anytime their property is not vacant, that is a win-win for them. And I was talking about, yesterday I had a chance to get out in some houses in our area, and I saw a rental sign in one of the neighborhoods where we have a house, and the rental sign said that the particular company has over 200 houses available to rent, and that's in the Memphis market. And we today have over 4,000 and only have about 80 properties available in Memphis, Dallas, and Houston. So that just tells you the type of job that our team is doing. And again, it comes back to what our investors expect from us, and that's to be highly focused, highly determined, to have that experience for them that's unbelievable. And when our customer service team can deliver a message to an investor that you do have a vacancy, but we're getting them now rented in less than 30 days and sometimes in less than 20 days, that's a big, big plus for the investor. So back in February, we had 44 houses that were over 30 days. And this morning on today's date of May 11th, we have 10 houses available that are over 30 days. And it's just a phenomenal job that our people are doing. And
all right, let that sink in. 4,100 properties under management, 3 different markets, a team of 75 people. We have 10 houses over 30 days on the available rental side.
Rental sheet.
And that's, the answer you gave to the first question we went through is why do you believe we've grown so quickly? So customer service is the promise, but we have to back that up with results. And so for everybody listening, there's the meat behind the promise right there.
That's a lot of what sometimes we get questioned about is, do y'all really do some of these things can you really do 700 properties? Can you really manage 100 rehabs today that you have going on in 3 cities? And we do. And it comes back to the details of how we look at the business. And our management team, our ownership, and our staff are so heavily involved in the littlest, minute detail of the experience, not only for our team members, but for our vendors and for our residents and for our investors, that sometimes we take the details to extreme. And some people might think this is extreme, but we know that this will definitely lead to a better experience for our investors. And in turn, they're going to buy more properties, because all of us know that if I had a vacancy, I don't want to buy another house while I have a vacancy. But if I have no vacancies, then I'm more likely with that experience to consider looking at another property. And that's how we look at it. And that's how we've been able to grow the business. And
well, I want to add one thing to that, because your note this morning to the team wasn't only great job getting from 44 to 10. It was, let's finish. When are the last 10 going to be gone? Because that's the expectation, is that there's nothing on that list.
So I take a little screenshot of the report, and I text it out to all of our team this morning, and we're almost there. Let's finish this off. And they've done a great job on getting us there. Our top rental agent was in our office early this morning, and we told this person how great a job they were doing, and we just need to finish it. We're right there. And boy, if we can sit and tell our investors that we have no properties over 20 days available to rent, and it's just a great achievement for our people. But it comes back and to what I talked about, that we have to develop and cultivate a culture of discipline in the business, and that's what we do in here. And there's a lot of details that we go through every single day with our team and our department leaders and our executive team. and then Chris and I and Brett on looking at what we expect everybody to do and stretching them and encouraging them and inspiring them to be better than what maybe they think they can do. And this is a monumental achievement right here that I was talking about that they've been able to do. And so it's just part of the process of details and discipline and focus. And there's probably another 100 of these types of things in our business. This is just one example of it. And so I guess the next question would be, well, how do you develop this type of discipline? Kevin, what do you think? How do we develop this type of discipline in here?
Well, it's interesting that you asked me that on a Wednesday or on a Thursday morning, and you know, one of our standing meetings on Thursdays is our leadership team that we're developing. We call it our leadership bench, but the people that are already in department head roles or that are in soon-to-be leadership roles, and then now we're on to developing the group that's coming up behind them that we're calling our next gen leaders. And so you've all three as owners of the company, you have a culture of continual improvement, of learning, and of the discipline. And so what we have to do as leaders is we have to develop people that start with that mindset. You know, they come in to the company, they're going to be doers, and we have to focus on the details. We need them thinking the same way that you do, that we do, once they emerge into leadership roles. So it starts with the people.
I try to encourage our team, and I'm probably over the top sometimes on details. And we were, again, as I mentioned earlier, we were out, and Chris and I and Brett were out in 4 of our properties yesterday. And I'll just talk about that for a second. We were at 3 recent move-outs and 1 renovation that we've done. And when I come out, and if some of you saw the Facebook Live that we did yesterday, you saw one of the houses that we were at. And so the most important thing to me, and I've talked to our renovation people for years about this, is that the curb appeal, when you walk up to that house and the prospective resident, you show the house, you got one time to make a wow impression on this particular resident. And whether it's the mailbox or the house numbers or the yard or the grass or weeds growing up or grass growing up in the cracks of the driveway or the sidewalk or the street or a mat on the front porch, all of these things are part of the process of discipline on being able to rid a house, which leads back to this result that we're talking about. And when I go with our renovation people yesterday, and again, I'm talking about pretty detail, when I see grass, just a little bit of grass growing up in a sidewalk or in a street or in a driveway, or the yard is not cutting edged and there's not a mat at the front door, and you open the door and the house smells good and looks good and it's inviting to a prospective resident, that's all part of the process. That's all part of the detail. And that's what I try to cover with our people. And our renovation people and our move out people do a really, really good job, but we can always get better on that. I saw a couple things yesterday. I pointed out a lot of good things. I pointed out some things that we need to do better yesterday, but it's all part of the detailed process of providing a great house for our resident so that they'll be very happy and they'll stay in there and they'll renew their lease and they'll stay with us for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then that's a win-win for our investor to have that type of tenant in their house. So again, those are just a couple of the details that I come back to that I'm trying to always talk to our team about.
Well, and one of your favorite phrases is inspect what you expect. And for the people listening that are in the top chair in the entire company in your organization, what you just heard Kent say is, I'm out in the houses. He's not a absentee CEO managing from the beach and all that. He's involved in it still and going to the actual product. And just as often as you go to the product, you're actually over in property management watching how the service works too. So you're inspecting what you expect, which is something I think everybody in our company probably hears multiple times a week.
Well, and again, it comes back to, and again, I've talked over and over again about service, and service is important not only for our investors, but again for our residents. And we implemented a program this morning to where we're following up with every one of our residents after their closing within 72 hours to call them from our offices, see how the closing went, everything okay at the house, anything you need. And we're trying to ensure that they have a very good experience with us. in our office, and Kevin mentioned in property management, I'm around to the different buildings, and I was in our property management building earlier this week, and we had 3 people waiting in line, and we actually have 2 windows over there, and we had 3 people sitting back, and that upsets me when I see our people not jumping to the window to take care of somebody that's waiting in line, because I don't want anybody to wait in line 1 minute. I hate waiting in line at a drive-through. I hate waiting in line at getting my driver's license, and we all hate that. And so we have a situation here to where we can make that better. And we redid our property management building, and we put in 2 different windows where people can come up and get service if we have multiple people in our lobby. And so that's the kind of service that we want to get. And our people do a great job of this, but sometimes we all have to be reminded a little bit. And so that's a little bit about some of the details and some of the discipline that we try to do and put into our business. And I encourage you as a business owner to really, really look at, as an owner or an entrepreneur, your involvement in the details. And a lot of them you can not look at, but I try to look at them, and I always try to find more details. I want to be over the top on every detail, because if I don't expect it, it's never going to happen. And our team does a great job on putting up with me on that kind of detail stuff that I do from time to time.
And I know that trust is a big deal to you, and that's why we have the reach we do with our clients, is because, I mean, they live 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles away around the globe. Most have not seen their house. Most have not come and even met our team, and so the trust factor is so big. They expect us to be handling those details. We don't want to let them down, so we have to expect the same of everybody.
That's really good, because we've had, of all of our houses and our owners, and I think the last time we looked at, over 50% of our owners had never been to Memphis or Dallas to see their house. So they trust us, and we want to demonstrate every day that we want to earn that trust from them, and by some of the things that we do and some of the actions that we take, and what they expect us to do. And the bar is pretty high for us now, and we know other companies don't do that, because from time to time people want to move properties to us that we may not want to do, but they want to move it because of the type of service that we do, the type of company that we run, and that's setting the bar really high. But I like that, because that's a challenge, and it makes us stay good. It makes us get better, and we really expect to be better every single day. So, Kevin, what else today? Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Today.
So for the group listening, I mean, obviously, you led off with what's caused us to grow so fast and be successful, and we hit on people and we hit on details and process. And I think if you focus on bringing the right people on board, and then you focus on the details in your processes, you'll be successful no matter what business you're in.
Well, thank you for helping me today and being a part of it. Again, I'll remind you, if you have any questions that you would like us to answer on a future podcast, if you would email at info@memphisinvest.com. We'll be glad to get them on the air here. And again, thank you very much for being part of it, letting us get on to you, or get involved with your life a little bit today, with you listening to what we're doing. Hopefully the content has been good and been good information for you, and we appreciate being part of your day. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next time. Thank you.